Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. Um, I'm Moose, and today, uh, oops, Cryptozoology Museum, whatever. Today we have a knife review, and that is of this guy. Oops. This is the SOG Cash Card. The SOG Cash Card. This is a sweet, very slim, lightweight design by SOG Knives. And it's called the Cash Card, mostly because it's about the size of a credit card, as far as like length, I believe. And two, I think part of the intent of it was to be used kind of like a money clip as well. So, boom. Let's go over some specs, and I'll let you know what I think. So, the overall length of this knife is 6.12 inches long. The blade length is 2.75 inches long. The blade thickness is 0.08 inches thick. The handle length is 3.37 inches long. And the handle thickness is 0.19 inches thick. And the overall weight of this little dude is 2 ounces. So, super lightweight. And yeah, it's pretty awesome that way. Um, so, looking at it right off the bat, first off, I will say this does come in a nice multitude of colors, mostly just the handle scales here. They have them in like a nice looking kind of forest green, red, black, I think a gray or silver, and then this kind of like darker blue look here. I do also think that they also have a blacked out blade on a couple of models, but this is the version I got. I will also say at the time of the filming this video, excuse me, learn to talk moose. At the time of this video, I did pick this up from Knife Center for like $15. They were having a sale on these for like $15. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Otherwise, on Blade HQ, they're going for like $35. Either way, both of them are justifiable price, but obviously you want to get the better deal. So definitely check out Knife Center if you're looking for one of these. That being said, going into the blade, we have kind of a powder coat finish on this knife. Not my favorite finish. I always prefer like a stone wash. But this is very thin, and it's really not that bad at all. We have a nice plain edge hollow grind clip point knife, which is actually a pretty nice looking clip point. And we have this cut out here for the thumb deployment, but I do like this clip on it. There's a very faint swedge up top, and then you have some pretty aggressive jimping that definitely locks that thumb in really well. As far as branding, you have the SOG logo there and the name, the Cash Card, and then you have a small China stamp there, so it is made in China. But I do overall like the blade profile of this knife. I think it's a cooler looking kind of stout clip point look. It does come to that very fine tip, even though the blade is already very thin. The tip itself gets very thin as well. So if you want to do some very fine pinpoint cuts, you definitely have that option. We do have a nice little ricasso sharpening choil there. It is a hollow grind, and yeah, I will say, because the design of the knife, the higher hollow grind, this is an extremely slicey knife. Like just crazy slicey. So I'll take this packaging. This, I don't know. I guess this packaging doesn't show as well as you can, but trust me, if you go out and cut a stick or anything, just awesome. And then if you put a really good edge on this, ACR 13 can get a really fine edge. So yeah, this sucker will slice. That being said, now when I first saw this knife, I always think, besides the blade profile, like, am I gonna enjoy the blade profile and the overall blade shape? Second to that is the handle going to be comfortable in hand? Because you can have the best blade on in the world, but if it isn't comfortable to hold, it's basically a useless knife in my opinion. That being said, this surprisingly does have a fairly comfortable hold. Now, obviously, you got those independent finger choils there, but they just lock in those first three fingers, and then that jimping just locks your thumb in. The jimping, like I said, is fairly aggressive, so if you have delicate mitts or pads on that thumb, you might want to find a little bit more softer knife. But that being said, like, for being such a thin profile knife, or a thin knife, it actually feels pretty good in hand, which is definitely a plus and a selling point for this knife. Overall, I like the colors. I like the skeletonized look. You have these just circular things, and obviously they are to create less weight, and you can make a lanyard hole. I mean, obviously, I think this is the designated one, but I'm sure there's a way to do other things. It is a liner lock knife, but overall, I think it looks unique and cool. And I feel like this might be slightly outdated because I think they did come out with a new Cash Card XR with an XR lock that I'm pretty intrigued to get. That, or if it's just the next evolution of it. But these are still available, and if you're looking for something very slim, this is a good option. Even potentially a knife to actually fit in your wallet. I did try carrying it in my wallet for a little bit, and it worked as long as I took out some of the other unnecessary cards that I have. It easily could be put into a wallet or any sort of small travel kit. Now, a step away from where SOG typically is with their pocket clips, this is a one-directional tip down, right side only pocket clip, and it isn't deep carry. SOG traditionally has deep carry clips on everything. This one isn't one of those, and like I said, it's a little bit thicker and wider, so if the intent was to use it as a money clip, that is definitely possible with this type of a clip. Otherwise, the deployment's nothing special. You know, it's a manual thumb operated deployment, but yeah, works well for what it is. And let's quick take a look at some other knives. We got this VV Odium. We have the mini bug out. We'll throw in. There we go. We'll throw in the Pete. CRKT Pete. As you can see, these are all fairly comparable. I got about 2 3/4 inches blades. Handle length's all pretty much the same. I mean, across the board, these are all similarly sized knives. As far as the width, you can definitely see that the width of the handle and the blade is definitely wider than the mini bug out. Blade thickness, pretty similar. I want to say the bug out might just be a hair thicker. Weight wise, very similar. Remember, this is 2 ounces. This is like 1.8 or 6 or something. So lighter, but still fairly similar. Similar, definitely thicker here. Definitely can feel the weight with this one. And then the Pete, just a chunky boy. Surprisingly, the Pete is still feels pretty light, but yeah, this is a great knife. The Pete is definitely a great knife. So there you have it. There's the width. Now, I think part of the width with this, it is a little bit tricky to get an easy fold with it, but other than that, let's go into the ugly brown glove test. So here we have it. It is stainless steel frame, not much check screen or anything other than those grooves, so it is a little bit slick in hand this way. With the jimping exposed there, though, all I have to do is get my thumb or any part of my hand on that jimping, and it's not going to go anywhere. So the deployment there was a little tricky just because I have no grip on the actual handle itself. So like I'm moving the blade, but then the rest of this just wants to kind of slip out of my hand. So not the easiest deployment all, and same with closing is a little tricky. But I can find the lock. I can disengage the lock, but then I just have to be careful. So definitely not the best with the Ugly Brown Glove. As far as the grip goes in hand, those finger grooves, I just need to bite down on those and it locks it in pretty good. And then the jimping on the spine of the knife actually gives it, as always, sometimes I wish the jimping would go back into the actual frame right here, because that's usually a slick spot. But, you know, it is what it is. Those grooves definitely help. So, unfortunately, I don't know. Does it pass? Yes, technically it passes. It's definitely not one of the best just because the handle is so slick. So, what do I give it? I give it a C minus. Pass. It passes, but it gets a C minus. So, there you go, guys. It is what it is. So, now, who do I think this knife is for? First off, I think it's for anyone who wants a nice, slim, lightweight knife that doesn't want to kind of bulge out of the pocket in any sort of way. Or if you want to carry a knife in your wallet, this is definitely a good option. Two, this might work well in like some sort of a flatter briefcase or binder of some sort if that's kind of your EDC, like a notebook or something. So you got that. Also, it could be good potentially for like backpackers or lightweight hikers if you just want something lightweight. You know, doesn't get much better for than 2 ounces. Obviously, this is lighter, but this is also, you know, 10 times more expensive, or maybe not 10 times, but like 5 times more expensive or whatever. So, for a budget option, lightweight EDC, super good. Also, urban EDC with that sub 3-inch blade, manual open. It could also definitely work as a urban EDC. So, there you have it, guys. Remember, this comes in a bunch of different colors. And like I said, time of this video is like $15 on Knife Center. So, there you have it, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the knife, if you own it, if you enjoy it, or if you're interested in it, or have any questions about it. Other than that, let people know, and I'll see you outside. Peace!